Assalamu alaikum. My name is Malik Ibrahim and I am from class grade 10C, and today we have a lesson for grade 10. The name of the lesson is Key Features of Functions. As you can see, we have questions that are found on your book. We have questions like the domain, the range, the increasing interval, the decreasing interval, the vertex, the maximum and minimum, the x-intercepts, the y-intercepts, the positive interval, as well as the negative interval. Okay, I want you to know that before we start, the range, to find the range, you need to use the y-axis. But the other questions, you only need to use the x-axis, as I know. Okay, the x-axis, you move from left, it is red from left to right. From left to right for the x-axis, and for the y-axis, it is red from bottom to top. Okay. Now let's start with the domain. Here you can see that we have the infinite sign. This tells you that the numbers or the value is increasing infinitely. So there's not a specific number. So if we want to write the domain, we will use the x-axis since the domain needs the x-axis. So here we have the infinite. So you will write the infinite point right here. It will be negative infinity. Why? Because it is going on the left side of the graph, which goes to the negative side. This negative infinity, it tells us that the value is decreasing infinitely and it will not stop. Okay, and now the next point, as we said, for the x-axis, from left to right. Okay, so we went from left. Now let's go to the right. Okay, now from left to right. Okay, we find this point. This also is an infinite point. This infinite point, it is positively infinite, so we write positive infinite point. Okay, now for the range. To find the range, we need to use the y-axis. So first, we set the y-axis, it is from bottom to top. So now we go from bottom to top, and we find this point. This point is also known as the vertex. Okay, we will take that later on this question. Okay, now when we hit the lowest point, we go to the y-axis and we find that it is -4. So it will be -4, but it will be closed. It will be closed, okay? Since it is included in the graph, it will be -4. And the other point, we will continue going up from bottom to top. There is no certain point that we can reach since it is infinitely increasing. So we will take the infinite number, which is the positive infinite. Okay, now the increasing interval. The increasing interval, it is the point where the value starts increasing. As you can see, from this line, it decreases until it comes to the vertex. In the vertex, then it changes from decreasing into increasing. So the point of increasing interval, it will start from the vertex to the whatever number we have. Here we have infinite, okay? Infinite number, so it will be infinite. But first, we will write this number, which is definitely, I told you, the range only on y-axis. So now this is not the range, so it will be on the x-axis. So this number, it is -3. So we write -3. And I said it will increase until the positive infinity. So we write positive. Okay, now for the decreasing interval, it will be exactly the same, but we will go from the decreasing. As you can see, we have this line, and this line is the decreasing until the vertex. So it decreases from negative infinity until the vertex, which is -3. Okay, we were talking about the vertex before that. So now what is the vertex? The vertex, it is the point where the value shifts. So as you can see, here it becomes it decreases until it hits the vertex and it changes. Okay, so the vertex, you need the x and the y. This is the value of the vertex. You will take this x, it is the -3, I said we do not need the y only for the range because we are finding the points, but this is the value of the vertex where it sits at. So now the vertex, it is -4, -3 and -4. Okay, leave the maximum and minimum for later since it needs more explanation, or at the end of the lesson. Okay, now the x-intercepts. The x-intercepts, they are the points where the line interacts with the x-axis. Okay, so here we have 2 points where the line interacts with x-axis. So we will simply write the points. First, we have -5. So when the x-intercepts, the y equals 0, since it is not, the point is not high on the y like on the 2 or on the -4. It is on the 0. Okay, so it will be -5 for the x value and then 0 for the y value. And we have another point, so we write and this point, it is the -1 and 0. Okay, now the y-intercept, it is simply the same idea but for the y-axis. Where do you see the intersection of the y-axis? It is, you could say, like at the 5. The 5, yes. It is not very clear, but at the 5, yes, because at the 4 it does not intersect on the point, on the exact point. So it is 5. So we said in the x-intercepts the y will be 0, and in the y-intercept the x will be 0. So here in the y we will write x0 and the number that we found, which is 5. And we do not have another y-intercept since the line does not intersect on any other point on the y-axis. Okay, now the positive interval. The positive interval, it is simply the part of the line that is above the x-axis. As you can see here, this is the x-axis, and these are the parts of the line that is on top of the x-axis. So if you want to find the positive interval, you will look above the x-axis. So now let's find it. First, the positive interval, it's, as we said, for the x-axis, from left to right. It starts, we go left, like this, left, and then we find this point. This point, it is -infinity, as we said for the domain. So we will write -infinity. It is lagging a bit. Okay, -infinity. 1 second. Okay, -infinity. And it goes on down until it reaches the x-axis. We will not continue down here. Why? Because we said the positive interval, it is on top or above the x-axis. So if we go down here, we will go into the negative interval, and we do not want the negative interval. We only want the positive interval for now. Okay, so now the next point, it will be, we will go down until we reach this -5. So it will be -5. This is for the positive interval. Now for the second positive interval, let me just erase this. For the second positive interval, it will be the same but for the other point on the right. Okay, so as you can see, the other point, it starts from the -1, and we will go top until we reach the infinite sign. So it will be -1, and sorry, -1. This is mind you, this is for the positive interval. -1 and positive infinity. Now for the negative interval, this space for the negative interval, it is just 1 point. For the quadratic equation, you can find that we have like this, a u, like a u. This u, it starts from this point to this point. Why? Because from the bottom or below the x-axis, because we want the negative interval. So it starts from -5 to -1. So we write it like this, -5 to -1. Okay, before we go to the maximum and minimum value, I forgot to tell you that in the positive interval, we found 2 points, the -infinity and -5, and the -1 and infinity. In the positive interval, when you find 2 points and you are going to write them, you should write this symbol between them. it's a U. This symbol means union. Union. You write this symbol between the two values, the 2 points. Okay, the maximum and minimum. The maximum, it is simply the highest point on the y-axis, and the minimum, the lowest point on the y-axis. In this graph, when you look at the graph, let me erase it. When you look at the graph, you can see that we have the lowest value on the y-axis. It is the -4. We said for the y-axis, we go from bottom to top until we reach this point. This point, it is the lowest on the graph, so it is the minimum value, which is -4. But for the maximum, when you continue going up, and up, you will find that there is no definite point. We have infinite values. This means that the number of the maximum value, it is increasing and increasing an infinite number of times. So you cannot give the number for the maximum value. So the maximum value is nothing in this graph. And thank you for listening to me.